Hello, thank you all for coming. So I know what you've all been thinking, grungy lemon. You've barely touched on grunge, and you've hardly said a word about lemons. What's the deal? Well, I'll tell you right now. It's time for the big one. We're doing the lemon video. Of course, I'm being facetious. It is time to do our first grunge video. That is to say, we're doing a video on a grunge band I'm sure you're all familiar with. It's my personal favorite band. We are talking today about Nirvana. So, as the title suggests, we're doing a bit of a spin on the tier list today. As I said, Nirvana is my favorite band, so while that doesn't make me particularly special, it is what it is, and to me, all of their albums are like S and A tier albums. I love them all. I'm attached to them from my childhood. I still enjoy them today. I'm a fan. If you are not a fan, that is cool, but I am, so they all rank high. So what I thought I would do today is I would take one of their albums and I would rank the songs individually. What do I think of each song on the album? Which album could we possibly be talking about today? Well, it couldn't be any other than Nevermind. Now, before we get started, I would like to say that Nevermind is not my favorite Nirvana album. Of course, it is classic and it deserves its classic status. All of its songs are, it's got like a tight set list. Like, it's got good song after good song. If you are a fan of that kind of music, I think you will probably like most of the songs. I kind of am more of a Bleach fan. That has more to do with, that was just the one that I listened to growing up. I asked my parents for a Nirvana CD for one Christmas, and I guess Target didn't have Nevermind. Nevermind was not to be found on the Target shelves. Couldn't find the #1 selling of the year of the 90s album, Nevermind, but Bleach. But I like Bleach, so it's cool. But that being said, I do of course adore this record. Many do. And it is easily their most commercially viable, dare I say, commercially palatable album. It is a pop record. It is comfortably in the category that America remembers as grunge, but it is, for all intents and purposes, a pop record. That, again, that's not a hot take. That was the intent of the band. They had their own sort of sound. They had the Seattle sound, but they wanted to make a pop record, and they did it. So we're just going to go through the list, top to bottom, and we're going to rank the songs. You've seen these kind of lists a million times on YouTube. I don't have to explain. We're going to go S to F, and we're going to start right now. So the first one, the big one, the revolutionary one, the one you've all heard a million times. It Smells Like Teen Spirit. Of course it smells like Teen Spirit. You knew this, dummy. Come on. You know what we're talking about. Get it together. Now, of course, this song was going to launch the band into mainstream success and change the way that really Americans and the world over, to be honest, viewed rock and roll music and music in general. And it was a hot take of the time. Nothing like it had existed since. That's hard for a lot of us to make sense of today, just because it is sort of dad rock today. It is. The edge has sort of fallen off of grunge, and it is very much your father's favorite band, but they still hold up, and Smells Like Teen Spirit was a big part of that. That being said, it is vastly overplayed. That cannot be ignored. Anytime, if you are a Nirvana fan, you can relate to this story. Somebody's like, "Oh my God, you like Nirvana? Oh, dude, that's so cool. Nice, nice." And then they get the aux cord at the party, and they put on "Smells Like Teen Spirit," and from across the room, you get the, "No, man, come on, better songs." But it is a great song. It's good, but it's not my favorite. And it is vastly overplayed, so unfortunately, Teen Spirit, while it is probably still their most popular song, again, commercially speaking, I'm going to have to put it at a B tier. I'm feeling B for Teen Spirit. That seems to make the most sense. In Bloom. In Bloom is, of course, a banger. In Bloom was actually one of the first Nirvana songs that I heard. The first being Heart Shaped Box from Guitar Hero, and then In Bloom from Rock Band. I played these games sort of before I was into music. I was growing into music, but I didn't have internet at that time, so I was just sort of listening to whatever my parents had laying around the house. We were Nirvana-less, as it turns out, so I was just listening to the stuff on Rock Band and Guitar Hero and whatever CDs were available. But In Bloom really made an impression on me early on. You know, the sort of, it's very poppy and also very just sort of mellow rock, you know, and explodes into an absolutely fantastic chorus. That was also my very first exposure to what I guess you would consider non-traditional guitar solos. You know, he didn't feel the need to shred. He put the solo in that fit the aesthetic, the feel of the song, and it worked out fantastically. Not a whole lot bad to say about it. In Bloom, I'm gonna put at an A tier. It's still not quite an S, but I have no complaints about it. It is a great track. In Bloom, A. Come As You Are. So we're only going to be talking about the Nevermind version. Obviously, we're not going to be talking about the Unplugged Live version. And the Nevermind version, it slaps. It slaps. It is, oh man, what is his channel? Music is Win. That guy made this awesome video about teaching his girlfriend the first Nirvana song that everybody learns, and it was Come As You Are. I don't know how many other people relate to that, but I felt that on a personal level. That was the first song I learned how to play on guitar, so therefore also the first Nirvana song. Absolutely fantastic. Really love the riff. Really love just the sort of mysteriousness in the lyrics. You know, Kurt has a reputation for writing sort of very aloof, very kind of almost meaningless lyrics. Again, that's something he has admitted to himself in several interviews, how he would just kind of get the words in last minute because the music was his main focus, which is fine, but that really shined through. One of those has to be right in this song. It was it was the right amount of just aloofness for the atmospheric tone set by the timbre of the guitar, and you know, that really steady but really kind of low hitting drum beat. It's good. So Come As You Are, again, I'm going to go ahead and put that at an A tier. I think it is no complaints about it. If you, again, like grunge music, you probably like Come As You Are. Can't blame you. Next. Alright, now we got to talk about Breed. Controversial opinion, I have almost nothing to say except for the fact that Breed is definitely an S tier Nirvana song. I do not wish to be added on that. It is what it is. The riff is amazing. The lyrics that make no sense and yet at the same time make perfect sense are amazing. The whole groove of the song really is amazing. You know, I don't know what the word is for just the general feel of the song, but the general feel of the song is tight. I love it absolutely. That is one of my favorite Nirvana songs, you know, as a sort of, I guess, seasoned fan. You know, I've been listening for quite a few years now, since I was a young child, and at this point, you know, I've matured and my tastes have changed, and while I still like Nirvana, I don't like the same Nirvana songs that I used to when I was a child, and I think Breed is one of those ones that I really have loved for a long time, but I really love that one now. If you haven't heard it, it's on YouTube, obviously, and you're already here, so just go listen to it and then come back and finish this tier list. But Breed, S tier. Done. Lithium. Lithium is a strange one. It's very poppy. I would call it one of their poppier on this pop record that they've made. And of course it does slap. You know, today I found my friends, they're in my head. It's very dark, it's very edgy, and but you know, back before it was unthinkable to dance to a rock and roll track. The chorus makes you want to move, you know, and that was the desired effect, I do believe, was to get kids jumping in the club. Um, you know, whatever. That being said, it is a little repetitive for me. Again, I have nothing but respect for the fact that Kurt did music first, lyrics second. That is his choice as an artist. It is one that I respect, but it's not always one that pays off super duper well. And again, of course, I love Lithium. And I think all Nirvana songs, in the grand scope of songs, are A to S tier because I am a fan. That is what I believe. But if we're comparing them to other Nirvana songs in the context of the album, which is what this video is about, unfortunately, I have to put Lithium probably at a D tier. Again, I really like the song itself. I love the vibe. The chorus exploding is really hitting, but the repetitiveness is a little... It makes it subpar to some of the other tracks that they have on there, unfortunately. So Lithium, D tier. Polly. I think Polly is an absolute fantastic song. Fun fact, I wanted to play this song at a high school talent show and thought I could get away with it because while everybody knows what the song is about, it's not overtly stated in the lyrics. But not my teacher, but the teacher in charge of the talent show decided to look it up and was like, hey, you can't do that song. So I did another song. But point is, Polly is absolutely fantastic. I love the simplicity. You know, it's Kurt with the acoustic guitar, he's playing, he's singing, and then you have Dave just enough to articulate that we're kind of changing into the chorus, but man, what a chorus, you know, the flow. So, man, it's not one of their most live tracks, you know, it's not like super jumping, but of course, songs don't have to be jumping to be fantastic, and this is an absolute 100% pillar example of that. So Polly, I'm going to put it in an S tier for me. I love Polly. I think it is very indicative of the kind of art that Kurt wanted to make and the band wanted to make, for that matter. Not just, you know, they didn't want to be pigeonholed into just that 3-chord grunge, loud, raucous group. You know, they were artists and they wanted to express the fact that they could do other things, and they came out on their major label debut swinging with Polly. So S tier, easily. Alright, Territorial Pissings, absolutely fantastic track. I think most people probably agree with that. You have Chris in the beginning with that, come on people now. It's absolutely a fantastic way to start a song. I love the lyric. I feel like this lyric doesn't come from the band originally. I feel like this is alluding to something else, but it was used really well. The whole, just because you're paranoid, don't mean they're not after you. That was good. That was a cool little part of the song. I got all quiet and whatnot. That being said, of course, it is kind of an acquired taste. I wouldn't call that one of their most commercially viable songs, just because, again, I kind of see pop music in a bit of a stricter sense than I think most do. I think there are definitely trends and sort of expectations that people have to uphold to, and some of the guitar work and the vocal work, I think, may have been probably a bit harsh for the average listener. Again, certainly as you get into this kind of music, it seems very tame and very enjoyable, but try to think back to before you were a fan and give that song a listen. You see what I mean. So for that reason, I'm going to put Territorial Pissings comfortably at a B tier. We're going to put it at a B. Fantastic song, not their easiest to get into. Drain You, S tier. Next. Lounge Act. Lounge Act is easily one of my favorite Nirvana songs now. I think it's absolutely fantastic. However, I'm going to look at it compared to the rest of the songs, and it's very catchy. It is very well paced. I think that, you know, it's got that perfect balance that you want from any Nirvana album of, kind of poppy parts, and then they explode in the loud parts, and then they get quiet again. It's absolutely fantastic. They balance that really well. That being said, it just didn't get as much attention, I think, as some of their other tracks. And you have to remember this was, of course, back in the days when MTV was still playing music videos, and this song, to my knowledge, does not have a music video, so that was probably why it wasn't getting quite as much play. But again, absolutely fantastic song if you dig into it, but because it was buried in there, I can't give it an S because I don't think that the memory of that song withholds. Even if you ask the most dedicated Nirvana fan, if they know what Lounge Act is, which they probably do, it's probably not like the very first song that pops to their head. So we'll put it at an A tier. Great song, okay legacy. Stay Away. Stay Away and Lounge Act actually kind of suffer from similar problems. I'm sure many people are probably familiar with the band not super loving the adherence to the verse, chorus, verse formula. That was the name of one of their songs. I think it was renamed. I don't remember. I'm not going to pretend I do. But, that was not one of their favorite formulas, but those two songs are, I'm not going to say drugged down because a lot of great Nirvana songs follow that formula, but these two just seem, they're very first chorus, it's not their bravest song. It is I like it sonically, but again, it's not their bravest track. It's definitely a B-side, and I mean literally the B-side. You're not going to put it on the very first thing that people hear. I don't know how that translates. Somebody tell me. But yeah, Stay Away, I'll put it at a B. I love it, but B. On a Plane. Okay, man, this is going to be tough to say, and I'm sorry for the hate that I might receive, but unfortunately, I'm going to go ahead and just say On a Plane, D tier, and the reason is, I think that the album version is outshined by the live unplugged version. As I said during the Come As You Are bit, that's not really what we're focusing on in this video, but I cannot act like that version does not exist. And again, as I said with Polly, some tracks just kind of benefit from the quieter, more intimate feel of maybe acoustic instruments as opposed to electric instruments. And I think that On a Plane falls into that category. For me, again, and this is my list, so deal with it. But yeah, so for that reason, I'm going to put it at a D tier. It is what it is. I just like the unplugged version better. I think the unplugged version, in my eyes, sort of dwarfs that. I don't even really listen to the studio version. I kind of only listen to the unplugged one. Endless Nameless. They wanted to go out with a bang. That was accomplished. I see the intent. I would call that track more of an aesthetic track than I would anything else. I feel like that track definitely was made with the purpose of saying, we are making this pop album, and it is, we hope that it charts, but we're still underground, and we're still that. We're still underground and edgy. So, mission accomplished, I guess I would say. That is how that song has always come off to me. If other people see a higher meaning or feel like that song fits better somewhere else, I would say maybe leave me a comment, but my personal list, again, I think all their songs are great, but compared to what else is on this record, I have to put Endless Nameless as the only F tier on the record. I just don't think it really holds up as well as a lot of the other tracks do. Again, I feel like it's more of an aesthetic song. I feel like it's a song that they were using to set a tone, to sort of leave you with, you've heard, they started with the pop, like I went in order of how they are presented on the album. So Teen Spirit is number one on the list. So you start with your most successful, most poppy tracks, with that and In Bloom and Come As You Are, obviously 3 big singles. And I guess they just wanted to leave you with a taste of the artist that they saw themselves as, which there's nothing wrong with inherently, but to me it just didn't add a whole lot. So unfortunately, I have to give that an F tier. The last one I'm going to cover is a bit of an honorable mention. It is a B-side, I think the other definition of a B-side, whatever that means, to the album, and that's Aneurysm, and I'm going to give that an S tier. I just love Aneurysm. I think it's an absolutely amazing, bouncy, fun song. I'm not really going to get into it any more than that because it's not actually on the record, but like I said, you're already here on YouTube, so give it a listen. It's really cool. Again, thank you everybody so much for stopping by today. We're going to call it with that. Leave me a comment if you agree or disagree or just want to. Thanks.